Hello there, my name is Vince from My Mate Vince, and in this video today we're going to be looking at this Sony Sports Walkman. So this was sent over by Lee, and he's put down here, Lee's sent quite a few things into the channel over the years, and he's put, I bought this and plan to keep it as I have a thing for the sports series. Had corrosion, cleaned and got it moving, but it is playing fast. Found a couple of resistors that were dead short off the board. I tried to replace them with full-size resistors, but it made no difference. I can't really remember as I've had this thing sitting in the drawer for over a year. I know the two resistors are still missing near the speed pot, potentiometer, and it says I can't remember the values, but a manual is available online. Right, okay. And this is it here. So I can see evidence of lots of corrosion around this area. So obviously the batteries have been left in here, and I suppose it's been stored up in the attic or something, and they've all leaked. That's just come out of somewhere. I can see a bit of corrosion on the motor there as well. Right, so what have we got now? This is tuning. Oh, that's nice. Look at that. So that runs down. Look at that. It's like a kind of brake cable wire. And it runs right the way across there. Right, that's that. Volume is this here. So this must attach to, I presume, this on the board here. So there's a little bit sticking out. That must attach into here. Right, okay, and we have phones there. So looking at this here with all the rubber seal, I think the idea is originally it would have had some sort of waterproof or splash-proof protection on it, but now that these have pierced through here, it's no longer going to be splash-proof. In fact, where are the headphone jack? What am I missing here? Oh, here, sorry, here, okay. Right, so we have a missing wire, so I presume that needs to be soldered onto here, because we've got three other terminals here. But let's work out what's happening with the speed. Right, I can see a bit of a mess here. Let's zoom in and see if we can work out what's going on. Motor going up here, going to here. That all looks okay, I think. This is the thing here that doesn't look right. So from here and here, it goes up to here, and I can see a red blob. So this would have been like wave soldered. Can you see all the red blobs under the components? So it's glued into place, and then a wave of solder comes, washes over the board and solders everything. So we definitely need a resistor here. Oh, here. Can you see the red glue here? And there's nothing here. So a resistor needs to go here and here. Right, fine, okay. I can see the remains of a bit of a solder leg there, a resistor leg there, and something soldered the other side here. So this is like a through-hole component. There we go. That's nicer. Look at that there. And again, can you see something soldered through there? So we'll solder that up there, and let's just take off this one. Good, that's nice and clear what we have to do. So let's just resolder this here. And I'm just going to add a little bit more here. Right, let's get the schematics up and see if we can find out what it is. Also, I need to find out what model this is here. And I can see a little sticker. And there we go, perfect. Look at that, it looks immaculate there. Model WM-BF58. Right, so I've just taken a photo of the schematic on my phone, and you can see here, if we move around the place, that this part here is the motor down here. You can see the board mimics it here, and you can see it goes across here, yeah? Right, so we need this resistor here, because that's going to be this one. If we move across, it's not that one, it's not that one, it's this one here, yeah? Which is this one here that's missing, because we got that one, and we got that one there. There and there. So this one looks like it is R601, I think. R601 is a metal glaze. Hold on, R601. So it's a 680 ohm resistor. 680 ohm. And R603 is a 1.8K resistor. Right, looking at the schematic, it does actually have the values on it. So if you have a look here, underneath R601 it says 680 for 680 ohms, and this one here it says 1.8K for 1800 ohms. Right, now, I don't normally say this because normally you want things to be bigger. But in this instance here, annoyingly, I haven't actually got resistors that big. These resistors on the board, I would say, look to be maybe 1206 size. And the biggest resistors I have in SMD look to be 805 size. But they are going to fit in, but I'll probably have to flood each side with a nice bit of solder to get them to fit in. Annoyingly, in that whole pack there, and there's a lot in there, I haven't got the 1800 ohm one, which is irritating. But I think I can make it up by doing 2 resistors in series. So let's zoom right in and I'll explain what I think is correct. Right, if you look closely at these, each one of them will have 3 digits. So what it is the first 2 are like numbers and the last one denotes how many zeros to add. So we want a 680 ohm resistor. So it will be 6, 8 and 1 0. So it's 680, which is a 680 ohm resistor. So that one should be correct. If it was 682, it would be 6800 because it would be 6800. So basically what I need here is 680 ohms, so this one should be correct, but we will double check it with the multimeter. The other one I need is 1.8K, which is 1800 ohms. Now, I have got this one here, so what I would need is something that says 182, because then it'd be 1800, which is 1800 ohms, 1.8K ohms. So this one here I believe is 1500 ohms, 1500, and this one here is 300 ohms, 300. So if we add these 2 up, we've got 1500 plus 300, which should be 1800 ohms. So I think if I put these in series with each other, in other words, this one on the board here, this one soldered to here, and then this one on the board, across that I should have 1800 ohms. I'll tell you what, let's zoom out and try to measure it through here, because these are so small they kind of ping off if I try to measure them, but if I keep it trapped in here, it might be easier. So that's 676 ohms, because if it was one here it'd be 1000 ohms, because it's in the K, yeah? So that's good. And let's just measure these. So that's near enough 300 ohms. And there you go, 1.5 ohms, so 1494 ohms. Fine, okay, good. Let's get them soldered in. I've got to try to get that in there. Let's see if I can solder it. Nearly. There we go. There we go. Okay, so it's a bit blobby, but you can see that that is in place. We'll measure them at the end. Now we've got to try to get 2 resistors on this bit here. So let's make ourselves a little bit of room. Got to be careful now because that pad, I'm going to have to do them at a triangle up this way, because this is all one big solder pad, isn't it? Yeah. Right, so this is the 300 ohm one. This here is the 15 ohm one, so I need to solder that to there. Got the shakes today. Right, okay, so that's soldered there, but it's definitely not bridged. You know, it's not bridged to this side here, and that's not bridged either. So if I can get a dollop of solder on this side here now, we should be done. There we go. I know it doesn't look pretty, and I know I could buy the correct one, or I could put a surface mount component in there. but I think this is going to do. The only worry I do have is that, are these small little resistors going to have enough, are they going to be allow the power to go through, or are they going to burn up too quick? I would say they're going to be okay, because I'm hoping technology's moved on from when this was made, and maybe the same amount of wattage can go through here as, for example, these older, bigger ones, but I'm not too sure. Right, let's give it a little clean up with some IPA. So I'm just giving it a good clean up with some isopropyl alcohol. I do go to test them in circuit, but the problem is we've got other things in parallel with them. For example, on the other side of this board, we've got thermistors, which are like resistors that are affected by heat. So we're not getting a true reading, but we have tested them out of circuit before, and they were testing okay. So why wouldn't they be testing okay now? So now I just need to put it back together, and then we pop some batteries in. Let's see if it is still playing fast, or is it now fixed now that we have the correct resistors in there. Well, he weren't lying when he said it plays fast. Check this out. Oh my word. I was expecting it to just to be like a little fast. What's going on there? And it doesn't want to play that way round. How weird. Hold on, what was that play? Sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks. Right, okay, well there's something seriously wrong here. It doesn't want to play that way. My batteries are a little weak though. That's strange. Let's see if this tape will play both ways. No. Okay, let's take it apart and see what is going on. Let's have a look at the speed potentiometer. Maybe that's been twisted by accident, or maybe corrosion's making it play up. Right, speed potentiometer, where would you be? Oh, in here. Yeah, there is a tiny little thing just in here. Well, let's mess with that to begin with. But that is right where the corrosion is, isn't it? So what, should we have a look on the other side? Does it look gunked up? Let's give it a spin, because it's wet out anyway, isn't it? Let's give it a spin and see what happens in there. So I'm getting a tiny little flathead. Now let's see what's going on. Well, there we go. Oh, it spins very nicely. Okay, well that doesn't look corroded, I don't think. I can't tell in the middle there whether that's some sort of corrosion or whether that's normal. Actually, I can use some of my new deoxit on this. I've got some deoxit fader, and that would be perfect for this in here. Check out this beauty. I've been told about it many times throughout the years, but it was on the, what video was it now? I can't remember, maybe it was the keyboard. I was told about it again there, so I thought, you know what, it's about time I got some. Right, let's spray in here. Nice. Quality is expensive, but made in the USA. Isn't that nice? Right, do I need to spray anything else on here? I don't suppose I do. Well, I suppose I could spray these things, couldn't I? This thing here, and also the tuning thing here. Let's spray these two as well, now that I've got it out. Each spray is probably going to be about £1. Only joking. Do you know what? It's not too bad. I don't know what I paid for this. I think it was probably 20 something pound. But saying that, there's loads in here. Normally I pay about £5 or £6 for a tiny little tube of deoxit. So this is an absolute bargain compared to that. Not sure if any of that's going to work its way in. Oh, you can adjust the spray. What? Low, medium and high. I never knew that. Okay. I'll put it on low because it came out a bit powerful then. Right, so I want to connect it up and play it at the same time. So let's plug this into here. What? Doesn't make any difference at all. I know it does. It does make a difference. So that's the slowest it will go there. Well, it's a bit of a confusing one, isn't it? I mean, some of you might already have an idea what it is, but I'm thinking it's an electrical problem. So I'm wondering, is the pot incorrect? I mean, it's definitely got corrosion down there, and maybe if there's corrosion on the potentiometer, the pots, then maybe that's going to mess things up, because we definitely know that it makes a difference, makes it go even quicker or slower, but still ridiculously quick. So I unsoldered that from the board, and as far as I can see, yes, it is corroded, but it's testing okay. You know, it's doing what it needs to do when I put my meter across it. I'm saving you from probably about 2 hours of work here. The next thing I look at is the resistors. I take the other resistors off the board in that area just in case they're reading incorrect. Annoyingly, one goes flying off somewhere. I'm sure it will end up in my hair or something like that, and I'll have a bath. The next thing, there'll be a resistor at the very bottom of the bath. And, yeah, you know, they test, well, I couldn't test one of them because it flew off, but the one that didn't fly off does test okay. I then look at the belts. As far as I can see, the belts look all right. I'm wondering if the belts were kind of too tight or too loose or something. Might they cause that? Lastly, I actually unsoldered the motor, but again, I think it all looks okay. So then this happens in this part of the video here. Up until this moment, and I have been on this a long time already, up until this moment I'm thinking it's purely an electrical problem. But then I think maybe it could be mechanical. Let's play the video again from here. There's also a chance that the motor is spinning correctly, but it's not transferring to here correctly. Do you know what I mean? So when this turns here, 1 second, so if I press play, right, why is that pinch roller not touching that? Is that the problem? Can you see the pinch roller here? Look. Right, so that's going to be rewind, fast forward. This is the radio switch. But when I press that, oh, it is touching. Was it touching properly a minute ago? Look at that. Hold on. Maybe it's a dodgy... No, it's rusted here. Maybe that's the problem, that because this is not up here, maybe would that be allowing the tape through too quick because there's no resistance off this here? Possibly. Hold on now. Yeah, now look. See, that's turning now, but that wasn't turning when I spun that a minute ago because it was down here. Right, okay, that might be the problem. So it might be nothing to do with the speed thing. It might be the fact that corrosion's sat here and it's ruined this. This has to move up a lot more smoothly than that. Let's try to take out the mechanism. I've got quite a bit of work to do here now because I've got to get the resistors in, but also I now need to mess around with that there. Now I think about taking the mechanism out, but then I think to myself, springs, and all those weird memories of Tomy 1980 toys come flooding back to me, where you take one thing out and then you wish you hadn't, because all of a sudden you've got 7 gears that you don't recognise and 30 springs around the place. So I think to myself, Vince, leave well alone. It is fast forwarding and rewinding. It's the fact that it's not playing correct. The problem looks to be just with this little pinch roller thing because it's corroded. It's not pushing up where it should push up because it's rusted to the pivot. So what I do is I try to just kind of like manhandle it off without taking out the whole mechanism. Yes, it means bending plastics and stuff like that, but I still think that's a better option than getting involved with stripping down this whole thing, because I know that's going to be 6 hours of my life I'm not going to get back. And is it even going to go back as well as it is now? Probably unlikely. As long as this bit here is clean, then it should be alright. I think it was because it's bubbled up here, it's putting pressure on the circlip, and that's the reason it wasn't moving up and down freely. So if I can scrape this bit back and scrape the circlip, then I think it will move freely again. I can always put some grease on it. Right, you know what, I'm going to rest that in there for a bit, and I am going to start soldering up the board, and then I can worry about this once it's been soaked in the IPA for a while. Right, so that resistor that didn't fly off is going to go across here, and then I need to put a new one across here, and then I'm just going to solder up the motor wires and stuff again to this one here, and solder the thermistor back in. So I've got a few things to solder back in, which will keep me busy. Also, I need to get this pinch roller back in. So I tried to get it in without sort of dismantling the mechanism by bending the plastics back, but it was easier to take out than it is to put back. But it doesn't matter, I do actually undo a few screws, and then the whole mechanism comes out without a million springs going everywhere, because the mechanism is still kind of as a whole. So it seems to be a lot freer now on the little pivot, and I clean up the little circlip and basically put all that back together. Annoyingly, what's causing me problems is the positive terminal of the battery where it attaches to the board has now completely snapped off because it is so corroded. The nickel on the outside's okay. I just think the metal on the inside is just completely eaten through. I'm trying my best to kind of clean it and put it together, but the solder just does not want to stick. But anyway, I'm bodging it up just for the time being, just so I can test it to see, has this speed issue got better, or is it just like it was before? So let's pick up the video again now, where I've got the pinch roller back in and I've bodged up the positive terminal just for testing. Right, okay, so that's on there now. That's on there. Let's see, are you going to play? Yes, that's much slower. I already know that that's much slower. Right, okay, now, come on, Archers, here we come. First of all, is it going to play both ways? No, you're not. Could be weak batteries, that. Oh, what? You don't want to play either way now? Right, let's put some brand new batteries in. Okay, we've got new batteries in. We've got 3.1 volts. Excellent. Right now, play. Why are you not playing? What is going on? We've got 3.1 volts there. Why are you not playing? Oh, come on, what's going on? It's like it's got no power now. Oh, dearie me. Oh, come on. The red wires come off. Now, are you going to play? Yes, you are. Right now. In. Play. No. Nope. But that looks a lot more normal, doesn't it? Right, so there's still big problems, but let's see if it's playing normally now. I wouldn't have thought that that would have caused that. I would have thought that that would have been an electrical thing, but no, mechanical. Here goes. There we go. Right. Let's turn this. So that's slower. Oh man, it sounds horrible. Why do you sound so bad? Is it the bell? Oh, here we go.
Children playing a ball game down in the courtyard.
That sounds normal.
In front of the remains
Slow.
of the hospital building.
That's right.
Fast.
The Abbey of St Mary of the Latins.
Immediately below us had been...
Don't stop. Don't stop in the middle of it. Oh, come on. My oh my, this thing has so many things wrong with it. So basically, the reason it's playing up now is because the belts need changing. I would just do voiceovers and show you footage, but there's too much. There's just... The video would still be 3 hours long, so let me just quickly explain. The headphone jacks were completely worn out, both of them. 3 prongs in there, ground, left and right audio. It would only ever play through one channel. I had to price them out on both of them. The clock at the front was not working. I had to put a new battery in that. Obviously had to change the belts. The positive terminal on the battery was completely eaten through, so I had to make my own positive terminal from other bits that I had around the house, cutting down like the contacts and bending them over, getting them into place. That took a long time. The whole thing needs cleaning. The whole mechanism needs cleaning. The tape head needs cleaning. The pinch roller needs cleaning. All the corrosion needs to be taken out from everything. Underneath the belt clip is just brown, just complete brown. You take off that massive belt clip, that's all brown underneath. The whole thing just needs a mega clean. I also managed to get a kink in the tuning, the radio tuner thing. So basically the brake cable looking thing got a kink in it. It meant then the wheel snapped off because I was trying to turn the wheel. It was jammed and it just snapped because there's a tiny bit of plastic as the point of contact. Tried gluing it, wasn't going to work. Point of contact too small, snapped straight off. Couldn't build it up with Q-bond or anything because there's rubber O-rings to make it all waterproof, and the fit of it is very good. It's a well-made thing, but it's just the plastics are getting weak now after all these years. So I've had to pump a screw right the way through. Doesn't bother me because it's no longer waterproof anyway. There's holes all over this thing where the rubbers have just turned rock hard. So yeah, managed to get that working. The AM tuner, the AM little thing with all the wires wrapped around, that's all falling and hanging off. That needs gluing back on. This thing needs so much work to it. So what I'm doing is I'm just basically showing you what I think are the good bits rather than the video going on for 3 hours. So this next part now is with the Walkman back together, but how do I know if it's playing slow or fast? I don't, do I? I'm just hearing the tape and thinking it sounds okay. But if we were to play a frequency, we could put that frequency onto the Walkman and then use our phone to pick up that frequency to see if it really is playing that frequency, or is it playing it slow or fast. So apparently we hear between 20 Hertz and 20,000 Hertz, but comfortably we hear between 1,000 Hertz and 5,000 Hertz. So what I've done is I've picked a tone on YouTube and played it at 3,000 Hertz, and I've recorded it onto here. So this is now playing 3,000 Hertz on the tape, and then I've downloaded a frequency analyzer on my phone, and then when we play this it should come up with 3,000 Hertz on my phone. Then we can play this tape on the Walkman through the speaker and tune it in until the phone is recognizing 3,000 Hertz. Right, so I've got the 3,000 Hertz signal on here. I've downloaded an app called Spectroid, or I think I might have had it before. And you can see that when I clap and do stuff, the yellow line's moving. I've already had a little play with it, and you can see the peak here on the red is where 3,000 is. So I think I've tuned it in pretty much perfect, but I'm going to just show you what I did because it's interesting. When we go slow, the yellow peak moves to the left-hand side, so the frequency's lower. When we speed it up, the frequency's higher and it moves to the right-hand side. So check this out here. You're looking at the yellow line and you will see that when we press play, you can see it will be, because this is 1000, this is 10,000, so it's going to be around this one here. In fact, you can see the red one where it's going to be, where the red peak is. So if I press play now, and if I go up this way, it goes up to 4,000 and something hertz. And if I go down this way, can you see the peaks moving right the way down? There we go. So that's now at 3,000 hertz. That should be playing correct. So let's listen to it and see what it sounds like. Right, to me now, this sounds perfect. So if you have a listen.
Spend a lifetime with horses and expect to have silky hands. I've saddled both of them. I'll be off in a minute. Why don't you ride Tootsie today? Oh, can I? If you don't mind me. He's so eager.
Tootsie.
If we could channel all his energy. Started putting him into point.
I think that sounds perfect. Right, let's just check the other side.
In the Judean hills not far from Jerusalem.
Here we have something entirely familiar in Europe. A planned settlement.
Right, here it is all finished, and I'm so happy with the way it's come out. Look how clean it has come out. And I'm so happy that I got the little workaround for that one there. Obviously, it doesn't look as good as that one, but you know what? It's not too bad. Remember, this is not waterproof anyway, so I'm sure water would go in through there now, but it's going to go in through here anyway, and it's going to go in through here as well. But considering what it looked like, hasn't it come up well? And check out the time, it's keeping correct time as well. So what's that, 13:26? And if you have a look here, 13:26. So that's working well. If I press play.
50 maybe. Oh, I know I shouldn't get carried away, but ever since that moment...
See, it sounds normal. If I fast forward.
Point. With Tootsie, everyone thinks he's just a good hunt.
Doesn't matter where I put it, seems to always talk about Tootsie. Rewind.
Your husband's quite worried about you. Oh, I'm...
So that's all good. And the radio does appear to be working. The thing is just such bad reception inside. We're bringing it outside for that.
Courthouse, because these settlers being...
Okay, so check out the radio side of it. Going to turn it on now, put the volume up. Obviously, I've got to skip through everything because of copyright. It seems to be better with the headphones in, so I don't know whether it's using this as part of the antenna or not. Let's see if we're getting anything on AM. But you can hear it goes through all the stations there. When I'm walking around with the headphones in, I can actually listen to some stations.
Mango, strawberry and pineapple.
There we go. It's amazing, just a tiniest little movement here picks up loads of different stations, because I suppose it's all in such a short space. You know, like on a bigger device you can spin loads and you can tune it in finer, while with this it's tiny little adjustments. Anyway, that miraculously appears to be okay. So I'm really happy with how it's come out. I think it's fantastic. And when I first was seeing it, I thought it looked like a sort of cheap yellow product, but now obviously it's still a yellow product, but it's certainly not cheap. It is actually very well made. So I think it might have been quite expensive when it was released. Love the fact that the time's working. I think it's come out so good considering what it was like to begin with, and no fault with the resistors. It was all to do with the little capstan thing down here not making contact with that. Isn't that interesting? Because again, off corrosion. So this was all caused by just batteries being left in here and just spreading their corrosion absolutely everywhere. So a massive thanks to Lee for sending it out to me. I think it's made for quite an interesting video. It was testing at times because there was so much wrong with it. But I think at the end now we've got a product which a collector probably wouldn't want because there's too much wrong with it and it's never going to be watertight. But I think for somebody else, I don't know, I think it's got value there, especially if you just want to use it occasionally. I think it's looking very, very good. So that is it. If you enjoyed it, give it a massive thumbs up and I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone.